What if the strongest person on the ranch is the one who hides her pain the most? Amy Fleming has always been brave. She trains wild horses, runs the ranch, and protects her family. But in season 19, behind her smile, she's breaking. And this time, it's not just about missing Ty, it's about losing herself too. Amy starts season 19 looking calm on the outside. But something is clearly wrong. Every time she sees Ty's old jacket hanging by the door, she pauses. It's been years since Ty passed, but Amy never really said goodbye. She's been strong for Lindy, for Jack, for the ranch, but never for herself. Now, the weight of being everyone's anchor is slowly pulling her down. The season opens with Amy working alone in the barn at sunrise. She gently brushes a nervous horse, but her hands shake. She gets through the day as usual, but viewers can see the cracks. Amy begins forgetting things, missing appointments, losing tools, skipping meals. Lou notices first, but Amy brushes it off. Just tired, she says. But it's more than that. A new horse arrives at the ranch. One that reminds Amy of the wild Mustang she once tamed with Ty. This horse is injured, angry, and doesn't trust anyone. Amy sees herself in that horse. She tells Jack she work with it alone, but the truth is she needs something to focus on. Anything to avoid thinking about the emptiness inside her. In one emotional scene, Amy talks to Ty's grave. She whispers, "I'm still trying, but I don't know how much longer I can keep pretending I'm okay." Tears roll down her face. She wipes them quickly, like she always does, then returns to the barn. She doesn't let anyone see her cry, not even Lindy. Lindy, now older, starts asking more questions about her dad. Was Daddy brave? Did Daddy ever get scared? Amy smiles and says yes to both. But inside, every question feels like a knife. She wants to be honest, but how can she explain grief to a child when she still doesn't understand it herself? Later in the season, Amy is invited to a horse therapy conference. It's a big deal. People want to hear her speak about her life with horses. Jack encouraged her to go. Lou offers to help with the ranch, but Amy hesitates. She feels like a fraud. How can she help others heal when she still feels broken? That's when Caleb steps in. He visits one night and tells her the truth. Amy, everyone thinks you're made of stone. But even stone breaks under pressure. Maybe you don't need to be the strong one all the time. These words finally hit her. Amy starts to open up. Slowly, she begins to write a letter to Ty, something she's been avoiding for years. Not for him, but for herself. She reads it aloud in an empty barn. I miss your laugh, your silence, the way you calm the wild in everything, even in me. I'm still here, Ty, but I think I need help to keep going. The final moment of this section is quiet, yet powerful. Amy stands in the middle of the ranch, holding Lindy's hand. The wind blows through the trees, and Amy closes her eyes. For the first time in a long time, she lets herself feel everything. Not just pain, but hope. Season 19 doesn't just show Amy's strength. It shows her fear, her grief, and her slow journey to healing. And that's what makes it so emotional. Because sometimes the bravest thing a person can do is let others know they're not okay. He was always the one they turned to, the man who never broke, never backed down, never asked for help. But what happens when the rock of the family begins to crack? Jack Bartlett is aging, and this season, for the first time ever, even he can't hide it. Jack has been the heart of Heartland since the very beginning. His strong hands built that ranch. His quiet wisdom held his family together through loss, pain, and change. But season 19 opens with something different in his eyes. It's not fear. It's something deeper, a quiet acceptance that time doesn't stop for anyone. Not even for Jack Bartlett. It begins small. He forgets the name of a foal-born just days ago. He mixes up dates, loses his tools in places he's never left them before. Lou notices it first and gently brings it up. Jack, of course, brushes her off with a chuckle. I've earned the right to forget a few things, he says. But it's more than forgetfulness. A doctor's visit reveals early signs of memory loss, not serious yet, but a warning. Jack doesn't tell anyone at first. He keeps working, keeps pushing, but the audience can see the signs. He stands in the fields and looks out over the land like he's trying to hold it in his mind forever, afraid that one day he might not remember it at all. There's one heartbreaking moment that shakes the viewers. Jack saddles up for a ride, like he always has. But halfway out on the trail, he forgets where he's going. He circles back to the same spot twice before finally stopping, disoriented. Katie, who had followed behind on her pony, finds him just standing still, staring at the trees. "Are you okay, Grandpa?" she asks. He smiles, forced. "Just enjoying the view, sweetheart." Later that night, Jack tells Lisa. He sits beside her in silence for a long time before whispering, "I might be forgetting things, important things." Lisa doesn't cry. She holds his hand. "Then I'll remember for you," she says. It's one of the quietest, most powerful moments of the season, but Jack, being Jack, doesn't give up. He begins to write letters, memories, ranch stories, advice, and hides them around the barn for Amy and Lindy. He builds a small wooden box and carves their names into it. "Just in case," he says, though he doesn't explain why. He even records messages on an old voice recorder, telling stories of Ty, of Marion, of the land. He wants the ranch to remember even if he can't. Amy catches him one night staring at Ty's photo. Jack simply says, "There's still so much I want to tell her, so much I need to pass on." Amy doesn't speak. She just hugs him tighter than ever before. One episode ends with Jack sitting alone on the porch, his dog by his side. The sun is setting. He's humming a tune, one that Marion used to sing. For a moment he closes his eyes and forgets where he is. But then Lindy's laughter echoes from the barn. Jack opens his eyes and smiles. Season 19 shows us a side of Jack we've never seen. Not weaker, but more human. He isn't just the tough cowboy anymore. He's a man facing the limits of time with quiet dignity. And it's in that silence, in those small moments of slipping memory and deep love, that the heartbreak truly hits. Because losing someone slowly, not to death, but to time, might be the hardest goodbye of all. She built a life of power, respect, and success. But the higher she climbed, the more distant her family became. Now, Lou Fleming must face the hardest question of all. What's the cost of chasing everything, when it means risking the ones you love most? Lou Fleming has always been the planner, the fixer, the one who makes things happen. As mayor of Hudson, she holds the town together with sharp focus and hard work. But in season 19, all that control begins to slip through her fingers, not because of politics, but because of Home. Lou starts the season with a major win, a city development deal that promises more tourism, better roads, and new opportunities. For Heartland, everyone at Town Hall is cheering. But when she brings the news to the ranch, the smiles disappear. The deal requires rerouting a historic horse trail, one that runs straight through the Heartland property. Amy is furious. Jack is quiet, even Tim is uncomfortable. Lou tries to explain. It's just one trail. Think of the benefits. But Amy replies with a sharp voice we rarely hear from her. "You're not thinking about what we lose. You're thinking about your title." Suddenly, Lou is caught between two worlds, the community that depends on her as mayor, and the family that built her. And for the first time, she realizes she can't please both. Things get worse when a protest forms against the development project. Unexpectedly, Amy joins the protest, standing in front of the cameras, holding a sign with Lindy by her side. The press turns the story into drama. Mayor's own sister stands against her. Lou sees the headline and feels the sting. Peter, Lou's ex-husband, tries to comfort her. He tells her she's not wrong for wanting progress, but he also reminds her of something deeper. This family was built on land and love. Don't let politics tear that apart. Katie, watching all of it unfold, begins to pull away too. She doesn't want to be stuck in the middle, a child of split loyalties once again. One night, Lou drives out to the old lake where she and Amy used to ride as girls. She sits on a bench and pulls out her phone. She scrolls past city emails, budget reports, and finally lands on a photo, her, Amy, and Ty. She stares at it, and something breaks inside. That week at a city meeting, Lou makes a shocking move. She turns down the deal. Sometimes, she says in her speech, progress means protecting what matters most, even if the world calls it standing still. The room goes silent, some cheer, some boo, but Lou doesn't care. She walks out. With her head high, back at the ranch, Amy meets her at the gate. The two sisters stand there for a moment before Amy finally says, "You didn't have to do that." Lou answers softly, "Yes, I did." For us, this moment doesn't erase all the hurt, but it starts something new, healing. In season 19, Lou's journey isn't about power. It's about sacrifice, about realizing that success means nothing if it costs your people, and that sometimes being strong means letting go of what looks like a win to hold on to what really matters. He finally found peace, a second chance at love, a stable life at the ranch. But the past doesn't knock, it barges in. And when Tim's forgotten choices come back with a face and a name, everything he's built begins to crumble. Fast. Tim Fleming has always been complicated. A rodeo star with a stormy history and a short temper, he spent years trying to make up for the damage he caused. By season 19, it looked like he'd finally grown. He married Jessica, bonded with Amy, and helped on the ranch without running from responsibility. But peace can be fragile. And sometimes the past waits for the perfect moment to strike. It begins with a letter. No name, just a return address from a nearby town. Tim opens it and turns pale. A few words written in rushed handwriting. "We need to talk. You owe me the truth." He hides it from Jessica. He doesn't want her asking questions. Not. Yet days later, while feeding horses near the barn, a car pulls up. A woman steps out, not young, not old. Her eyes are fierce, her voice sharp. "Tim Fleming." He freezes. "You remember Albuquerque? Summer of '99? Amy, nearby, hears part of it but walks away. She knows that tone, trouble. The woman, her name is Mara, reveals a truth Tim never saw coming. She claims they had a child. He never knew. She never told him. But now that child, a grown man named Clay, wants to meet his father. Tim is shattered. He denies it at first, tries to run from it the way he used to. But Mara hands him proof, a photo of her with the baby, a DNA report, and something else, a copy of a letter Clay once wrote to Tim but never sent. "I don't want money. I don't want anything. I just want to know what part of you is in me." Tim doesn't tell anyone, but the guilt eats away at him. He starts picking fights with Jack, skipping out on ranch chores, snapping at Jessica. For no reason, eventually Jessica confronts him. "I know that look. You're hiding something." That night, Tim finally tells her everything. She listens in silence, then walks away in tears. Clay arrives unannounced 2 episodes later. He looks like a young Tim, same walk, same fire in his eyes, but his smile doesn't reach his face. "I didn't come here for hugs," he says. "I came to see if you're worth knowing." Tim tries to connect, but Clay keeps him at a distance. There's anger there, not just for being abandoned, but for the life he never got. The ranch becomes tense. Amy finds out and feels betrayed. "How could you not tell us?" Jack is quiet, Lou is furious. Even Lindy senses something's wrong. The emotional peak comes when Clay finds Ty's memorial. He reads the plaque and whispers, "He got your time, I didn't." That night, Tim finally breaks down, alone in the dark barn. "I didn't know about you," he says aloud, to no one. "But I should have looked. I should have known." In the end, Tim does what he never used to do. He doesn't run. He asks Clay to stay. Not as a son, not as a stranger, just as a man trying to figure things out. Clay agrees, but only on one condition. Honesty. Season 19 doesn't just remind us of Tim's wild past. It shows how the consequences of silence echo louder over time, and how sometimes redemption doesn't come from being perfect, but from standing still and facing the pain. It doesn't come with warning. It doesn't wait for the right time. When goodbye finally comes to Heartland, it doesn't shout, it whispers. And then it changes everything. Season 19 builds towards something quiet but heavy, a feeling that's been growing with every episode. Between Amy's inner struggle, Jack's fading memory, Lou's painful choice, and Tim's haunting past, There's one thing everyone starts to realize. Heartland is changing, and nothing will ever be the same again. In the final episodes, the ranch faces its biggest challenge yet. A massive storm damages the barns and fences beyond easy repair. Insurance won't cover all the costs. The family gathers in the kitchen, tired, bruised, but still together. Lou suggests selling a piece of land. Amy looks heartbroken. Jack says nothing. Then, after a long silence, he speaks. Maybe it's time we talk about what happens when I'm not here. The room goes cold. No one wants to hear it. No one wants to say it, but Jack knows. He's been forgetting more. He's been getting lost in his own home. And now, with the ranch needing strong hands and clear minds, he knows he might be more of a burden than a help. Amy breaks down. You are this place, Grandpa. Without you, it's not Heartland. But Jack smiles gently. No, Amy, you are Heartland now. And that's why I know it'll be okay. He doesn't die. That's what makes it more emotional. Jack chooses to step away, to spend his last strong years traveling with Lisa, seeing the mountains he once rode through. He passes the torch to Amy, officially in a quiet ceremony. Surrounded by family, Jack hands her Marion's old saddle, the one Amy hasn't seen in years. It started with her, Jack says. And now it continues with you. The entire family cries, viewers cry. Even the animals seem to stand still in the moment, and then comes the final scene. Amy rides alone across the field, Lindy on a pony beside her. The sky is golden, the ranch is quiet. She looks back once, to the house, to the barn, to everything they've built, and smiles through her tears. A letter plays in voiceover. Jack's voice, slow and warm. If you're hearing this, it means I'm on the road. Don't worry, I haven't gone far. I'll always be where the wind blows over the fields, where the horses run free, where family lives in every fence post and nail. You've made me proud, you always will. The camera fades out on the ranch sign swinging gently in the wind. Heartland Season 19 doesn't end with tragedy. It ends with legacy. And that's what breaks you. Not the loss, but the beauty of everything that came before it. And the quiet way it says goodbye.